everyone. And from Waco all the way down to Eagle Pass, we are Down on the Farm Radio, and I guess we reach even farther because we're on the internet. Our website, downonthefarmradio.com. Our Facebook page, of course, is Down on the Farm Radio. I'm your host, Larry Marble. Neighbor Hop Sing is going to feed us a big old heaping helping of chicken fried steak and jalapeno gravy, and I'll do my best to season it with some good agricultural information. But first up, we always do a little bit of ag weather, and down on the farm country is a big old piece of country, so let's go all the way up to Sweetwater and see what the listeners up there to our affiliate stations are having for weather today. Sunny today, 59 the high, 34 the low. Saturday, cloudy, 54 the high, 36 the low. Neighbor, let's drop down to Ballinger, where we have another Down on the Farm affiliate station. Sunny today, 58 and 28. Cloudy tomorrow, 50 and 33. Let's drop on further down to Junction, Texas, there on the river. 58, the mostly sunny high today, 28 tomorrow morning. Saturday, cloudy, 53 with a 31-degree low on Sunday morning. Neighbor, let's drop over to Giddings, where we have a fine affiliate station. Sunny today, 59 and 29. Cloudy tomorrow, 53 and 31 with a 25% chance of moisture. Neighbor, let's drop down to Alice now and see what's going on down in that big ranch country. Sunny today, 59 the high, 36 the low. Saturday, cloudy, a 60% chance of moisture, 16 or 17 points. 56 the high, 39 the low Sunday morning, and then it's going to be sunny about the time they go to church on Sunday. 68 the high, 38 the low. Neighbor, there is a good look at weather across Down on the Farm country. Neighbor, we'll take a look at commodities at the tail end of today's program right before the grains. But right now, let's see who's at the mic and what the topic is for today's Texas News and Views.
Southern Plains Crop Progress Report. I'm Tom Nicoletti with Texas News and Views from the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. More after these messages.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an agent who's there when you need them most. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
You're looking for soybeans that give you the yield you want. But when it comes to fighting your toughest weeds, you also need flexibility. Introducing Extend Flex soybeans. Elite genetics with triple tolerance to dicamba, glyphosate, and glufosinate. The yield you want, the choice you need. Learn more at extendflexsoy.com. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
The latest Texas crop progress and livestock condition report for the week of November 23rd through November 29th comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Let's talk about the livestock range and pasture conditions first. Supplemental feeding is ongoing in most areas of Texas. Stock tank levels continue to decline in some areas of the cross timbers, the Blacklands, and southern Texas. Feral hogs persist to be a problem in areas of northeastern Texas. Pasture conditions were rated fair to poor. On to fruit, vegetable, and specialty crops. Pecan harvest continues in areas of the Edwards Plateau and south central Texas, while harvest neared completion in areas of the cross timbers. Citrus and sugarcane harvest and winter vegetable growth progressed in areas of the lower valley in the Rio Grande Valley. On row crops, cotton harvest neared completion in areas of the northern high plains and the Edwards Plateau. Disastered cotton fields were being shredded in some areas of the Texas low plains. An early freeze appeared to have caused lower than expected yields in areas of the southern low plains. Corn and grain sorghum residue was being plowed in areas of the Blacklands. And on small grains, there is winter wheat seeding in areas of the high plains, the cross timbers, and the upper coast. Winter wheat fields were in need of moisture in many areas of the state as soil moisture continued to decline. Some emerged small grains in the Blacklands and southern low plains are making progress. Just about every one of the 254 counties in Texas is experiencing some form of abnormally dry to exceptional drought. Just a handful of counties in deep East Texas along the state line with Louisiana, and a few counties in North Texas on the state line with Oklahoma are not having any drought or abnormally dry conditions at this time. Most of the extreme and exceptional drought is extending from the southern Texas panhandle through the South Plains of West Texas down into the Trans-Pecos area, covering much of far west Texas from the Guadalupe Mountains National Park down to the Big Bend National Park. There's also a stretch of extreme and exceptional drought extending from counties around the San Antonio area southwestward towards the Eagle Pass area. According to the Drought Impact Reporter, potential impacts from D4 or exceptional drought include exceptional and widespread crop loss being reported, rangeland is reported to be dead, and producers are not planting fields. Culling continues as livestock producers wean calves early and liquidate herds due to the importation of hay and water expenses, and there is extreme sensitivity to fire danger with fireworks restrictions in place.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life. Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to get insurance for Texans by Texans. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
This is Texas News and Views. I'm Tom Nicoletti with the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, it is time for Hop Sing to ring that lunch bell and service. Chicken fried steak, jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's yeast rolls, a cold cucumber salad. I'll pour the iced tea because that's the easy part. Hop Sing does the heavy lifting. And old Ken Jordan's going to come in and eat with us and tell about the sale in San Saba yesterday and the special coming Saturday. Ken?
You bet, Larry. We ended up having a good run, a few more head than I thought we'd have. We ended up with 2,317 head today. I thought overall demand was extremely good on a very, very active market. Quality cattle as a whole had lots of good deals shaped up and started up in lots. I thought today those stocker steers, kind of like we saw on Monday, sold $3 to $5 higher. In some instances, maybe up to $7 higher. Had a draft of 10 steers, weighed 501, bought $1.60, right at $802 on those. The lightweight stocker heifers I thought sold 5 to 10 higher. Had a group of 6 heifers, weighed 392, at $1.62, a little over $635 on those. Another group of heifers, there's 7 in a draft that weighed 501 at $1.40, right at $706 on those. The balance of the stocker heifers overall sold steady. The feeder heifers and steers I thought overall sold fully steady. The packer cows I thought were as a whole a little lower today, 2 to 3 lower. There's still a lot of cows coming to town throughout the whole country, I guess, right now. The drier weather we've had in some areas. Also, bulls were probably $3 lower. Pairs and bred cows overall were steady on a good active trade, Larry.
What about the special for Saturday?
You bet. Got probably over 3,200 consigned, and we got lots of good pairs. I think over close to 400 pair, close to 1,000 bred cows, or maybe 975. We got right at 1,400 bred heifers and right at 600 open heifers. A lot of good offering. We got a lot of pictures up on the website and everything, and then we'll have tomorrow evening. That'll be, Friday evening as we're talking on Friday morning. We'll have our running order ready to go and everything, probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock, maybe a hair earlier. And you're feel free to give us a call. If you can't make it up here, we'll be live on the internet also, Larry.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
You bet. If they want to look at the information on the sales, they can call us at 325-372-5159, or they can go to our website, jordancattle.com. We'll start at 10 o'clock sharp, Larry, on Saturday.
Neighbor, now it's time to talk to Tom Nicoletti. He puts together a lot of the Texas Farm Bureau Roundup programs. In fact, he puts them all together. We submit to him every other week. I believe there's 12 of us across the state that do that. I'll prepare one and give to him on Tuesday about noon of this next week. Tom Nicoletti, who have you got on the line today?
Rain has fallen recently in central Texas, but not very much. Dr. Shane McClellan reports from Waco.
The moisture we have been waiting on for months has finally arrived, but it was in smaller amounts and did not add up to much. Over the Thanksgiving week, the rain fell in short increments. It was spread out over several days with a whopping grand total of 1 inch of rainfall. Some areas received a little bit more, some received a little bit less, but overall it wasn't a big widespread rain for our area. Since October 1, we've only received 2.7 inches up to date. Comparing the 30-year average rainfall, where we would normally receive over 7 inches, that 2.7 inches is very shy of what we would expect for this time of year. Moisture may be present on the topsoil, but we are very short with deep soil moisture. We have not received those large rainfall events or even small events spread out over a large amount of time that'll add up. The low levels of rain are very evident if you go around the area and look at stock tanks, which are very low for this time of year. We have been relatively warm so far in the fall into the early part of the winter, but that normal cooler weather has returned to Central Texas with temperatures getting down to around freezing and hovering kind of just above it. Those nighttime lows have been around freezing. Daytime temperatures have been a little higher. Doesn't feel too bad out there unless you get out in the wind. The moisture we have received has allowed our cool season annuals to germinate, come up, as well as small grains that was planted into a dry seedbed to have enough moisture to germinate and emerge. Has been a large amount of wheat that was dry planted that is now coming up. Surprisingly, with the limited amount of moisture we have received over Central Texas, we do have wheat and oat stands that look fairly good. Ryegrass pastures are starting to green up, and you can see it being consistently green across some of these livestock pastures. Until next time, this has been Dr. Shane McClellan from Waco with the Texas Farm Bureau Roundup.
Neighbor, when you hear cattle in the alleyway, they're shipping them out from Lockhart, where they had a good sale yesterday, Thursday. Madison Bexley, that little country ball of fire. Maddie, how did the sale go?
Seemed to be a pretty good day, Larry. We ended up with 1830 with 321 cows and 35 bulls, 217 sellers, and 78 buyers.
Let's walk the pins.
On the stocker cows, we got along pretty good. The best pair was a really good red-assured Brahman pair, and she had a little Brahman heifer on her. They brought $20.75. The better end of the pairs brought from $1,000 to $12.50. The mediocre and middle aged from $6.50 to $9.75. The good bred cows from $8 to $11.50. The mediocre, middle aged, and shortbreds from $3.25 to $7.75. The packer cows and bulls about steady with 2 weeks ago. The good high yielding cows from 48 to 60.5. The medium yielding from 40 to 47. The low yielding and lightweights from 18 to 39. The good high yielding packer bulls from 80 to 87.5. The medium yielding from 70 to 79. The low yielding and thin bulls from 45 to 69. The calves and yearlings sold mostly 2 to 5 higher than 2 weeks ago on a good active market. The buyers were real aggressive on the front end quality and on most all weights. And for the most part, the quality of the cattle was real good, so that always helped.
Good. We'll have 2 more sales before Christmas.
That's exactly right. 2 more.
Tell everybody how to contact you.
Yeah, Larry, you can always check us out on Facebook, or you can call the barn at 512-398-3476. My cell phone at 979-540-9793. Or you can ring Bubba at 512-461-6091.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm on the line with Julie from D&D. Julie, a lot of people only think about feeding deer during season, but you need to feed them all year round, don't you?
Yes, sir, and we got several different proteins that are great for that, but we also got your apple corn and regular corn for if you're just going out on the weekend to go hunting.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you, Julie.
All you have to do is give me a call at 830-379-7340, or you can come see me in the store. I'd be glad to chit-chat with you.
Neighbor, my cowboy crew is finished eating. And while they've cleaned up their chicken fried steak and jalapeno gravy, they're got plenty of energy in them. So I'm going to send them over to Lexington Livestock Commission Company to help Russell Heller with the sale for tomorrow. Russell, put them to work. Get them to gathering and working cattle and crowding that alleyway full of them so you can sell them tomorrow. What's coming tomorrow?
Yes, sir. I know quite a few calves so far. Probably a couple of hundred, anywhere from 10 or 15 to 50 head apiece.
What was the temperature up there this morning?
31.
31. Well, it's kind of chiseling some condition into some cattle, I imagine.
Yes, sir. They're starting to get rid of them now.
All right. You got 2 more sales before the holiday?
Yes, sir, that's correct. 2 more.
All right. Well, you folks, if you need to get something bought or sold, you need to get them on into Lexington Livestock. They sell them on Saturday. Russell, tell everybody what time you start and how to get a hold of you.
Yes, sir. Sale starts at 12 noon on Saturday, and you can get me on my cell, and that number is 979-820-7002.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Rumensin presents Trusted by Generations. Headquartered in Amarillo, Texas, Cactus Feeders has been producing high-quality protein at their feed yards in Texas and Kansas for over 40 years. They work hard each day to make sure the beef they produce is safe and nutritious. Director of Nutrition Kendall Carr and General Manager of Wrangler Feed Yard Randy Shields have been working together at Cactus Feeders for 20 years. We asked them what they view as the most vital ingredient in their success. For Kendall, trust comes before anything else, and that includes doing business with a handshake. Beyond trust in their partners, Kendall knows it's important for consumers to trust the beef they consume. Randy believes it all comes back to the handshake deal, that when you make a commitment, you follow through with that commitment. Both Kendall and Randy are proud to carry on the legacy of helping people learn and grow in the beef cattle business. Rumensin has been trusted by generations of cattle producers to help build their legacy. What will your legacy be? Explore more legacy stories at trustedbygenerations.com.
Well, neighbors, somebody asked me why they hadn't heard Gary Butler's post of the sale at Nixon this week. Well, I've called Gary, and I finally got in touch with Rodney, and I said, Rodney, where's Gary? He said, he's out in West Texas hunting mule deer. So you folks that hunt deer can sympathize and empathize with Gary. Once you get hooked, you get hooked. And that's what we're talking about, mule deer or whitetail deer, on today's edition of the Texas Wildlife Radio Show. I believe Carrie Martin's at the mic. Carrie?
Mule deer or whitetails. I'm Carrie Martin with the Texas Wildlife Radio Show on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
You're looking for soybeans that give you the yield you want. But when it comes to fighting your toughest weeds, you also need flexibility. Introducing Extend Flex soybeans. Elite genetics with triple tolerance to dicamba, glyphosate, and glufosinate. The yield you want, the choice you need. Learn more at extendflexsoy.com. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com for an agent you can trust with life's most important decisions. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Now that deer season is underway in Texas, it's important to know what type of deer you're shooting at if you happen to be in those areas of the state that have both whitetails and mule deer. Sean Gray is mule deer and pronghorn program leader for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. He says there are several characteristics you can watch for.
Yeah, so you can look at the ears. They're going to be much larger in a mule deer compared to a whitetail deer. Look at their tails, and their rump. The mule deer will have a pretty much big white rump patch, and the tail will be white with a little black tip. Whitetail deer will just be that that long brown tail with the white underneath it. Coat color maybe, but I would basically go with the ears, the tail. Don't ever look at the antlers. In general, antlers on mule deer will branch off the main beam versus a whitetail will be like pointed right off of that main beam.
Gray says in most counties, the mule deer limit is 1 buck, with a few exceptions.
1 buck, and then if we have doe seasons, then you'd be able to, it's only, the doe season's actually only in 3 counties in the Trans-Pecos where you could harvest antlerless deer with archery equipment. And so those counties you could either harvest a buck or a doe or 2 does.
Sean Gray, mule deer and pronghorn program leader for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. I'm Carrie Martin on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, let's update those commodity prices if we can. March corn, 422 even money, down 4.5. Jan beans, 1163 3/4, down 4.5. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat, 543 3/4, down 6. March number 2 cotton up 66, 71.77. February live cattle down 85, 111.72. January feeder cattle down 55, 139.25. February lean hogs down 185, 65.07. December U.S. dollar down 28 points at 90.69. January West Texas Intermediate crude up 32 at 45.96. Neighbor, let's take a look at grains and cotton, courtesy of John Tuggle. Call 800-288-4453. Milo through Corpus in December, March plus 250, 1208. We'll call Progresso $11. Yellow corn through Corpus in December, March plus 40, 466.5. We'll call Progresso $875. Hard red winter wheat delivered to Corpus Christi in December, March plus 70, 619 3/4. We'll call Houston March plus 95, 644 3/4. We'll call Houston beans December, January delivery, January plus 10, 1180 1/4. Placido January less 60, 1110 1/4. Texas cotton 13,847 bale of West Texas, 1,695 bale of East. Total count 15,542 on Thursday. Average price $67.36. Neighbor, I'm Larry Marble. That's it for Down on the Farm and Grains and Cotton. Go out and make it a grand Friday.